Burney Falls is a stunning waterfall located in McArthur-Burney State Park. This park is about an hour east of Redding, and it's pretty out of the way for most people, which is why it's not as visited as many of the other great waterfalls in California. I have to say it's probably my favorite waterfall in the state, and every time I get to go, I'm blown away by how beautiful it is. At the park, there's a short trail that takes you down to the base and a longer 1.5-mile trail that takes you around the entire park. We're hiking the full loop in this video, and let's jump into our trip to Burney Falls. To get to the waterfall, you'll need to drive about an hour east of Redding on a 2-lane road and then pay your fee to enter. There isn't a lot to do at the park, but just seeing the waterfall is worth the price of admission by itself.
There's the visitor center here, but it is currently closed. This is how the park has changed. Get that little spot in 1947. Falls overlook 75 feet. Base of the falls, quarter mile, and 1.2 miles to do the whole loop.
While most people just go to the overlook and then go down to the base of the falls, I'm going to do the entire hike in this video. The first stop is the overlook, which is basically right next to the parking lot. You only have to walk down about 5 stairs, and then you get an amazing view of Burney Falls. Here, the view of the waterfall has trees on both sides, which almost frames the falls and makes for incredible photos. You can't really tell from here, but one of the things you'll notice as you get closer is just how wide the falls are. It's like 10 waterfalls put into one.
Of course, the only way to truly experience Burney Falls is to hike all the way down to the base.
Unfortunately, because of some steps at the very beginning of this trail, it's not wheelchair accessible.
If you just want to go to the base, it's about a quarter mile, or you can do the entire loop, which is 1.3 miles. That's what we're doing this video.
The trail down to the falls is easy enough with a couple really long switchbacks that take you all the way to the base. It feels incredibly easy going down, especially with the waterfall right out in front of you, but it is a little bit more difficult on the way back up. That being said, it's not too steep and it should be good for most people. On the way down, the waterfall peeks in and out of the trees before eventually revealing itself right near the base.
How do you beat this, right? Incredible.
Burney Falls is about 129 feet tall and has a daily water flow of over 100 million gallons. When President Theodore Roosevelt saw this waterfall, he said it was the 8th wonder of the world. I've been here dozens of times myself, and I'm always blown away by how beautiful it is.
You can feel the mist of the falls from right here. It's all the way over there.
That last bend is the closest you'll get to the waterfall, and then you can continue down to get a direct view from the base. After soaking it in from this viewpoint, you can continue on the trail which heads away from Burney Falls along the creek. Unfortunately, there's really no other views of Burney Falls once you leave this area, which is why most people just go back up the way they came. I do like this trail though, as it's beautiful and it's not that long, so you get to see some nice parts of the park.
We're right here, and now we're going to head out on the Falls Loop Trail. There's even waterfalls coming out of the side of the hill right there.
As you set out on the Falls Loop, there's a huge mountain of rocks to your right side and a beautiful creek that you're following on the left side. There's many information plaques along the way, and I've often seen people fishing during the fishing season. Eventually you'll reach a small bridge that crosses over Burney Creek. This is another great place for photography, as the bridge is really cool and the creek is picturesque.
Breathe in the beauty, it is all good. This little bridge is awesome, and the views up the creek are pretty spectacular.
As you cross over the bridge, you'll start to head up on a series of switchbacks, and this is where the trail gains its elevation. It's not too hard, and there's some great views down towards the creek and even a couple benches to relax at.
You can see Burney Falls poking through right there. I'm not sure if we get another view of it on this trail though. There's the trail on the creek we were walking, and now we're up on this hillside.
I liked that all the benches had quotes on them, and this one said, "Come away, O human child, to the waters and the wild."
This whole trail has been along the cliffside, but for some reason there's a barrier, just this one section.
At one of the bends in the uphill, you can see a little bit of Burney Falls through the trees, but again, these are not great views like the views you had on the way down. After a few more switchbacks, you'll get to the top of the elevation.
We made it to the top of the trail. Unfortunately, no real additional views of the waterfall, but it was a pretty trail. That bridge is our destination where we cross over and go back to the parking area.
To finish the trail, you'll walk along the creek until you get to the bridge. At the bridge, you can connect with the Pacific Crest Trail, which runs right through the park as well. The bridge is a really cool end to this hike as it's beautiful and has some great views over the creek. After crossing over the bridge, you can connect with a small path that takes you back to the parking area, or you can go to the overlook again.
Made it up to the top of the Falls Loop Trail and go check out the waterfall one more time before ending this video. Get a little bit of a view from these benches right before we get back to the start of the trail. That's it for our time in McArthur-Burney State Park, one of my favorite places in California. Let me know what you think in the comments, and we'll see you on the next video.